Hi, Leo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your July 2023 new moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps my channel be seen by the YouTube algorithm, and it helps me out tremendously. So, thank you so much for doing so. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. This cleanse and meditation will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see the energy we need to be mindful of, Leo, during this time. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Here we have the Six of Pentacles reversed. Things aren't quite as imbalanced as we want them to be, especially financially or in a power dynamic. So just being aware of that during this time, that it can feel like we're really, I'm just hearing hustle, hustle, hustle. It feels like we're really, really working hard and maybe not seeing the results that we had anticipated. So just be aware of that during this time, that there's some sort of imbalance that is driving you forward. So let's see what spirit has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. And here we have joyous reverse. We need to embrace our joy. We just do. We need to embrace joy and prosperity, because joyous reverse means that we don't have enough joy in our lives, or we're not focusing on what really brings us joy. We could be focusing on everything else, but what brings us joy isn't getting our attention. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Okay. One more card. Spirit saying one more card. Okay. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Okay, interesting. So I think it's interesting that Spirit said one more card, and the card that came out was Us reversed. So the Queen of Wands were represented by the Wands in the minor arcana, and this can mean that our temper is getting the best of us at times. This can mean that we don't feel as passionate or as, as driven as we usually do. We can kind of feel like all over the place, like pulled in so many different directions. So just be aware of that. We do have us falling away from a prison mindset, a sense of I'm trapped, I'm overwhelmed, I just can't. And that is leaving. So that is a very, very good thing. So let's talk about this new moon in Cancer on the 17th of July. We start off at 24 degrees, 56 seconds in Cancer, and this is a very powerful new moon. Now, Cancer is an extremely sensitive, kind, empathetic, nurturing sign. But what's interesting is that when we talk about Cancer, or when we say it, we don't necessarily think of the zodiac, we think of the disease. And that gives us pause, because that's nothing to joke about. So, by Cancer being represented by the crab, and that being what it denotes, what it is also showing us and telling us is like the crab has its skeleton on the outside of its body. And there's an intensity in growth and transformation with the skeleton being on the outside. So it's growth and transformation through painful but necessary means. And so there's also an emotional, sacrifice that comes with it. But there's also an emotional security that is always driving a Cancer forward. So being aware of this during this time is very important. Now, what's also very interesting is that we have this painful transformation, right? Of the exoskeleton being on the outside, shedding a skin, transforming, growing. And Cancer is most linked with motherhood. It is the sign that is most linked with motherhood, which in a human cycle is a real way that the body transforms. It grows painfully, and it takes on a new form. So that can be why motherhood and Cancer are so closely linked. And it doesn't mean that our path has to be that of a mother. It doesn't mean that at all. It means that it is what it is showing us is painful transformation to a new stage in our lives. And it doesn't need to be a bad thing. I know repeating painful isn't exactly, bringing goodwill and hope, but there is that sense when you're growing, you learn about the things, or you learn from the things that are overwhelming to you, right? So when you fall down and you skin your knee, or you go to touch the stove and it's hot and you feel that, you learn it because it overwhelms your senses. So here, there's those lessons that have come to us, not necessarily the easy way, but through the painful way, that have made us, astoundingly stronger, even better human beings. Not all the time. I'm not talking about all pain being that way, but that's very much the energy that's coming forward here. Now, Pluto is squared the nodal axis, and this is very important. The nodes move backwards, so they move from 29 degrees to 0. And we're starting on the 17th. Our collective destiny is changing. Our collective karma is changing, and this is a big deal. This shift of the North lunar node moves from Taurus to Aries, and the South lunar node moves from Scorpio to Libra. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. We are moving from being people pleasing to being more confident within ourselves. But we're also moving into the sister signs of Aries and Libra. Before we were in the sister signs of Taurus and Scorpio. So know that the North lunar node is seen as the head of the dragon. The South lunar node in astrology is seen as the tail of the dragon. So we can have conflicting energies guiding us forward. We need the head as well as we need the tail. So knowing that during this time is going to be very important. And then this also marks the cardinal grand cross that we're coming into this configuration. And this is 29 degrees Capricorn, 29 degrees Aries, equally 29 degrees Libra, and the moon at like 25 degrees Cancer. So this is extremely powerful configuration that leads us towards action. We're going to be very action oriented during this time. And, Leo, that suits us. We're very action oriented people. But remember, the sun, which rules us, is in Cancer, and the moon is in Cancer. So we need to move forward, making sure that what we love, what we cherish, is safe. And remember that we can be so driven towards what we love and what we cherish being safe that we fall into old patterns that we thought, okay, this kept things safe, this kept things secure, and it didn't. It just gave us the illusion. This is going to be a time where we're kind of being double dog dared to break out of old comforts, of old ways of doing things, and take new action in our lives. Jupiter is squared Mercury, which brings big visionary energy forward for us. And Neptune is trying the sun and the moon, which means that everything has to have a deeper meaning to it. We're going to be looking at things, and we need it to have a deeper meaning to life. We need there to be a deeper meaning. This is called the spiritual context of Neptune. The spiritual context of Neptune is guiding us in ways that are kind of astounding. It leads us to having a falling away of doubts and fears and negativities, the prison of the Ten of Swords. But the Ten of Swords is the minor arcana death card, the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new, the transformation of our soul and of what we desire and of where we want to be. We're also seeing a lot of the hardships, a lot of the pains, a lot of the disappointments moving from being the main focus in our lives or the things that kept us held back to really opening up our world. And it's like, well, I have that knowledge, right? Like the kid having the knowledge of the stove is hot, don't touch the stove. I have that important piece of knowledge. I can move forward with it. I can move forward and I am changing my life for the better because of this. With the Eight of Swords, we're not going to be caught in our own mind. This is going to be a time where we can easily overthink, we can easily overanalyze, and we're rejecting that way of dealing with situations. Now, it can mean that we're a little bit impetuous, a little bit like, just charge, full speed ahead, but we are also going to not be held back the way that we were before. The Eight of Swords, again, not overthinking, not overanalyzing, not keeping ourselves trapped by the what ifs, the coulds, the woulds, the maybes. So being aware of this is going to be something that's very powerful for us. It moves us to the Five of Pentacles. There is a sense here of financially being overwhelmed, and there is a sense of feeling out in the cold, as if, you're not in that place of security and stability that you want to be in. Now, this can be a mindset, a poverty mindset. This can be feeling left out of the group, type of thing, but it's an energy that makes us feel less than. Addressing this, looking at this, and saying, I need to move forward for my prosperity is going to be a very big thing. The Five of Pentacles is worried, doubt, and fear around money. There's almost a sense of there'll never be enough. We have to come to an understanding of what we really want, of what's important to us, of, where our prosperity lies, not where other people are telling us our prosperity lies. And that's going to be a game changer for us, Leo. With the 10 of Wands, we are really paying attention to the burdens that we carry, the weight that we're carrying. Now, this is around the throat chakra, around giving voice to what we want to create in our world. This is going to be a time where we're looking at everything that we're carrying that makes us bent over, that makes it so that we only see the dirt on our shoes, which is a way that some people live their whole entire life. It's only the drudgery, it's only the responsibility. I never do anything for me. And we hear people say this all the time. It might be an absolute lie, but it's how they feel. And so that needs to be given, credence, I guess. And there's a sense here of I am putting down the burdens that I carry. I am putting down the frustration that I carry, and I am building me. I am building my prosperity, my passion, my desires, my wants, my wishes. The completion, we're coming to the completion of 2 cycles here. And these are the 10s, but these are kind of the more negative 10s, right? The 10 of Swords, the overthinking, the overanalyzing, the kind of overkill energy, right? And we're being set free from that. And then the 10 of Wands, the overburdened energy. It leads us to the Hermit. This is Virgo energy. So if we're born on the cusp of Virgo, we can feel like this energy doesn't quite fit. We're having a bit of difficulty with Virgo energy. We don't want to be hidden away. This is actually a time where we don't want to be overthinking, overanalyzing, going over and over and over things in our mind. We want to be moving forward. We want to be going after our passion and our desire. We're having a hard time, though, shedding an old skin and, stepping into a transformed sense of ourselves. So that's going to be something just to be mindful of. And I was listening about Cancer, and I was listening to this rabbi, and he was talking about a butterfly, and he was saying how the transformation of a butterfly is painful. And I thought this was so interesting, where he said there was a compassionate man, and he saw a butterfly struggling to get out of its cocoon, and he was so compassionate that he cut the cocoon open. He said, "Oh, I'll help you," right? And what happened is that butterfly couldn't fly because the struggle was what gave the butterfly its wings, what gave the butterfly flight, because it was the breaking free, the pressure that was put on the wings that made the wings able to fly. And so his compassion actually kept the butterfly grounded. And so here, as we're turning inward, as we're looking at things, we're kind of like, I don't want I don't want to baby this. I need it to go out. I need to move forward. It's a sense here of I don't need to look at why there was the struggle. I know there was the struggle. Now I need to go after where I need to be and what I need to be for myself. And it brings us to the Queen of Wands reversed. This is us. Passion, compassion, fire, determination, focus, insight. We're embracing our dawn. We're embracing our day. We're looking at what passions drive us forward, where we need to be for ourselves. We can kind of get in our own way because we are so determined and we are so focused. This is a time where the life energy, I just see it like bubbling within us, bubbling within us. We need an outlet. If we don't have an outlet, Leo, we can feel very frustrated. We can feel very overwhelmed. We can feel trapped at times. So just be aware of that. So let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels. And spirit guides. Oh, goodness. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels. And spirit guides. Okay, so what's very interesting here is that we're finding balance within ourselves, but we're not holding to the vision that we had. This is going to be a very malleable time, a time of a lot of change, a lot of different insights guiding us forward. And that's going to be a big deal for us. There's a sense of balance coming with this moon, harmony coming with this moon, but it's changing the way that we move forward and it's changing what we're moving forward towards. It brings us then to the end of a rough cycle is approaching, but also to the fact that we need to have clearer boundaries with what we expect from ourselves or what we want. There's a sense of having clear boundaries. And this leads us to really that end of a tough cycle. But as the tough cycle ends, I do see our boundaries, our way of like, no, I won't do this, or yes, I will do this, or you know what, I don't want to accept that. They're being blurred. And it's more with what we expect from ourselves. And we're putting a lot on our shoulders that doesn't need to be there. So just be aware of this. Nothing will come of the situation. This is the void of course. Now, during a lunar cycle, there are many void of courses, and it's just a time where things do not go according to plan. From this new moon to the full moon, look up the void of courses, or just know that things will not be going according to plan, especially when it comes to money. I know that sounds really scary. It doesn't have to be. It's not that you're out at the cold or in the cold. It can just be that things are changing in a way that you hadn't anticipated or you hadn't looked at before. And there's a power that's coming to you by the full moon that's going to be like, oh, I'm not out in the cold anymore. But things aren't going to go the way that you had planned. So just be aware of that, Leo. It moves us to meditate and to contemplate because we're no longer starving for what we want. There's a hunger, yes, but it's not a starvation. It's not an all consuming. So we're putting down the weight of what we carry, and we're finding a way to balance our mind, our soul, and ourselves. We're hungry, but we're not starving. We're driven forward, but it's not a like insatiable drive that's guiding us. There was an insatiable drive before. It brings us to a win-win outcome is forecast. It brings pleasure. So here, because we don't really want to turn inward, we don't really want to overanalyze, overlook, oversee, everything. There's a win-win outcome focused forecast, and this is from Libra energy, which is what the South Lunar Node is moving into. And so we're going to see the balancing, the rudder, the balance, the tail, leading us towards pleasure, towards harmony, towards there being a balance to things where we might have thought there never would be a balance. And it says here, show the world the real you. You're not ready for that. You don't want to show the world the real you because right now you're kind of all over the place, and that's okay. We can be having a hard time embracing the sacred feminine energy. And I see that a lot right now with the Cancer new moon, is that we would think that this would be a time where people would be like, "Oh, I'm just absolutely embracing the sacred feminine energy." But it's more of a time of like, I'm tired of mothering and taking care of everything. I want some autonomy. I want some, you know, individuality to come forward. So here, we're not ready to show the world the real us, but we are ready to look at our path and to see ourselves ascending towards what we desire, what we want, what we need within our lives, and really becoming more than what we had expected. It brings us to our subconscious spirit message to be mindful of. And this is the Fool. Be mindful of being foolish, of being foolhardy, of not thinking of consequences and just going forward, or having people in our lives not thinking of consequences and just coming up with really good ideas that are like, they're half ideas. They're not really thought through to their fruition. It brings us to our subconscious spirit message, which is focus. We have tremendous focus. We have tremendous insight during this time. And that's a real blessing for us. Knowing that we can be focused, knowing that we can meditate and contemplate and really sit in our energy and sit in our understanding is huge for us. Our subconscious tarot message is the Six of Swords reversed. We're not apprehensive about the way that we move forward. We are apprehensive about listening to our angels, listening to our spirit guides. We do not need to have all the answers. It's okay to have a lot of questions, but knowing here that we are moving forward and knowing that there are questions that are guiding us, but that we are assured within ourselves. It brings us then to our subconscious Luna message, which is attraction. I love this. In the full moon in Leo, don't let pride get in your way, right? And with the Queen of Wands reversed, that's what we can be doing. So don't let pride get in your way, attraction. What you are thinking about, what you are focusing on is coming to you within this universe. So just know what we are focusing on, we will attract to ourselves, whether we want it or whether we don't. So be aware of that. All right. All right, Leo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this moon and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Leo. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. God bless, and have a blessed moon. Bye.